Take a Seat Gaming is one of the oldest gaming communities in the scene. We don't have a big ego about it. We're just better than you. You're now listening to the Take a Seat Tidbits podcast, featuring different hosts and leaders every episode.
Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the Take a Seat Tidbits podcast. I'm here with HR today, Hidden Royalty. We have TSB Percy, TSB Nighthawk, TSB Colonel Sanders, and TSB Fighter. We're going to be getting to know them. I'm asking them questions about their time in TSB, and then just kind of struggles or anything they've overcome, and then how they got where they are today. As of now, HR is the biggest it's ever been, and it has the highest ranking leaders that it's ever had. They just split a squad as well, which we're going to get into. But other than that, they've just been really growing and doing amazing. TSB was a Xbox-only community forever, and then PlayStation, we opened up, and I know for a while we weren't sure how it was going to go and if it was going to be successful. And they've definitely put in the work, and they've been here almost since it started, or even when it started. They've seen leaders come and go, and this is the best it's ever done. So it's really amazing what they've been doing over there, and I want to make sure that we give them the recognition they deserve. So I'm going to start it off with Nighthawk. Hello, Nighthawk.
Hello.
Me and Nighthawk go way back. I don't know if you guys know. We met IRL at Terrapalooza last year. We're Texas fans, and honestly, you were in WebOps. When did you join WebOps? A couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
I probably joined WebOps probably about 6 months after coming to TSB. I've obviously, been here 2 years. Been here since day one, since the PlayStation division has come to TSB. So I have seen the PlayStation division struggle mightily. But I'm happy where it's at now, and obviously, with the leadership that we have with myself and Percy and Fighter and Fender and Touch'em and then the Colonels and Majors doing their thing, I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Yes, HR train. So what is your rank now?
I am a lieutenant general.
Is that the highest rank that you've had in a community?
Yes, this is the highest rank that I have ever achieved in any communities. I was in 2 other communities previous to this one. Just because I followed people who I thought were my friends, but I won't go into that. So
It'd be like that. So have you always had a PlayStation, or were you Xbox for a little bit?
When I started gaming, I started out. I know I'm going to date myself when I say this. I started out actually playing Atari as a young boy, and then PlayStation came out. Well, actually, it was the Atari Jaguar and all the little small other consoles, Super Nintendo and all that. But when I really got good into gaming, I was on PlayStation, then I went to Xbox, and then back to PlayStation. So I've been all over the place as far as gaming consoles.
You just the PlayStation is stuck with it?
Yeah, the second time, I did it for personal reasons. Don't get me wrong, I love the Xbox. It's just what I got used to playing. But I got the PlayStation for personal reasons and just stuck with it since.
I've considered buying, I know you have both, but I've considered buying an Xbox and a PlayStation. I have a Switch, so, and a
That,
PC, so.
that's the one thing I don't have. I don't have a Switch.
Oh, I wanted the Animal Crossing Switch so bad. Tell me, you know what? This is a gaming podcast. I've never seen something like gaming wise that I was just like, oh my God, I have to have that. I saw the Animal Crossing Switch and I was like, I marked in my planner, I circled it the day that the game released. And I was like, I'm going to order it. Like, I'm literally going to get on the wait list and order it from like GameStop. I'm going to go try to buy one. I had no idea that they were only making X amount and it was like a huge thing. They released the actual Switch the week before, like 7 days before the game came out. And I didn't even know that because I didn't do my research. And so I missed it. And I'm so mad because I was like, that's the only thing I ever wanted. So it was like, I'm never buying a Switch. But I ended up getting one during quarantine. And I like it. I definitely play like cozy chill games on it. But
Of course.
yes.
I have the Animal Crossing Switch.
No, you don't.
I do.
Did you
I
get it
do.
during, like, when it came out like that, or did you just get it later?
I got it later. I happened to find one at Walmart when I was looking for a Switch. I was looking for a Switch for like probably half a year, and then
Me
just happened to
too.
come across one at Walmart sitting on the shelf.
And that's what Pinky, she got one. She was like, hey, like, I don't want to tell you this in person because I'm afraid you're going to punch me. And I was like, what? And she was like, I got the Animal Crossing Switch. And I was like, son of a bitch. Because she knew it was funny. I was like, you dang it. And it's so cute. Like, I love it for her. I like mine. I wanted that one really bad. But it's still just, I'll get over it. It's like a limited. They have like Call of Duty Xbox and like PlayStation and stuff like that, right? That like are with different things on them, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
I know the PS4s they did, but I haven't done anything like that for the PS5s yet, where they had the special edition consoles and stuff.
Special edition, yeah.
They can't even make enough PS5s normally. They can't fucking release a special edition one yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so TSB Fighter, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself. When did you join TSB? Have you been in any other communities? Like, how'd you get here?
So I've not been in any other communities other than TSB. I've been in TSB a little over a year and a half. It was kind of sheer happenstance. There was about 5 of us that all joined all at the same time. And it's ironic because now we're all up in Div Staff. One of the colonels buy you a drink. He got into one of the party chats with myself, Touch'em, Fender, and was like, hey, I got a community. Percy was recruiting in HR. He's like, y'all want to join? So we all joined at the same time. And the ironic part is, myself, we know each other, and we all live within 20 minutes of each other, and we hang out all the time. We've known each other over 10 years outside of TSB.
That's crazy.
So it was kind of cool that we all joined it. And now minus drink, we're all Div Staff. We've all climbed the ranks. And I love it here. I love meeting all these new people. I love TSB as a whole. I love where I think HR only had maybe like 30 members, and now we're 300. So to see where it was, 1 squad, now we're at 4 squads, approaching 300 members is unheard of, and I love it.
That's crazy. I remember when the other night I was like pinging everyone and it said 300 plus members and I was like, holy shit. I remember when I used to post in there and it wouldn't even give me a warning. I was like, dang. And now it's like 300 plus.
It's crazy how much we've grown in the last year. I'm just gonna say last year that we've grown.
Yeah,
It's been like wildfire, and it's been
absolutely.
doing great.
But I do want to throw in is, HR wasn't always the PlayStation division. It actually came in as in um, acts of valor, and then it went to internal chaos, and then some stuff happened. We ended up merging with HR, and it's where it's at now. So a little back history of the PlayStation division, in case people didn't know.
For sure. But that's what I always think of the PlayStation division as AV. Like, it takes, I'm telling you, it's like scrolling through a Rolodex. Like, that's how you know how old I am. Every time I'm like, okay, I'm like, the PlayStation division is HR. But you guys, for the last year, have been solid and just growing. Like, I wasn't kidding when I said earlier that I thought I would never see that. I thought it's just, we had enough people interested that we would have a PlayStation division, but it wouldn't be like a big, like one of our biggest divisions. And you guys are definitely proving that, like, we don't need to count y'all out or anything like that. Like, y'all are there and y'all are continuing to grow every day.
We're getting really close to splitting the 4 squads we have.
And that's like the most stress. I've talked about this on other podcasts, but I know that's like one of the most stressful things as a colonel, right, to do.
Mhm.
I know like Colonel Sanders can talk more about that, but I know you got there. So whenever you split the squad, do you G, right?
Yeah.
How stressful was it whenever you were splitting the squad that gave you your BG title? Were you like having trouble sleeping, or was it just kind of like it wasn't too crazy?
I was juggling between home life, at work, and splitting a squad all in one. And my wife can attest that week that I was on my phone a whole lot more than she really wanted me to. And I had to keep reassuring her that I had to do this to get through this. And it wasn't always going to be always like this, but this week was very important for the success of my squad and to be able to split and keep moving forward. And when I was at work, if I had downtime, I was getting on my officers. I was bringing in recruits myself, making sure everyone had their roles, making sure I was pushing them to get their game nights to meet our goals. And I was actually at work when we got the final go-ahead for officially splitting the squad. So this actual day we split, I was at work taking care of everything.
So your wife, like, I completely understand that, like 100%. Like, even though I'm in communities, I'm like a senior web director. My boyfriend owns a Hydra community. My dad owns a Hydra community. I'm still like, can you get off and come like watch a TV show? I don't see, like, I am still like that, the other side of it. So I completely agree. It's so, and we every episode we talk about it, but it just gets brought up that explaining this to anybody outside of people in communities, it's so like they look at you like you have like a third eye on your forehead, but it is like, it's so, you put so much work into it, and it's just like you're so close to seeing the payoff. Like, I can see like both sides of that. We're just like, it's just a week, and then like things will like level back out. So I'm glad that that everything like worked out.
We don't call it Hell Week because it's easy.
True.
I have something else I want to add because it's kind of funny with interaction about TSB between me and my wife.
Oh, absolutely.
My wife has always said, like, when I'm starting to do stuff, she'll always ask me, so how's boys club? and she'll look at me and she'll be like, so what's the first rule about boys club? You don't talk about boys club.
That's so true. And so like, I want anybody listening to remember that when you get mad that we post about the girls only server.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and she knows there's girls, but she just has always called it boys club. It's boys club.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely. It's
even though
100%
there's
like,
girls, even though there's girls in here, they're like one of the guys. They just interact and they just fit in with like one of the guys with everybody.
oh, absolutely. And it's like TSB is like 99.9% guys, I would say. And we have a lot of girls here. We have one director and two senior directors that are women. Like those numbers in other communities are just like, we are the most like, I feel like, inclusive, and like we have a lot of things going for girl gamers. So it's just,
Speaking of girls in positions of leadership, I do want to give a huge shout out to Jag. We put her in a position, Jaguar Pirate. She was a captain, and we moved her over to Supremacy to see if we couldn't reignite Supremacy. And she took that challenge, took the bull by its horns. She hit the ground running, and now it's one of our strongest squads in under a week.
that's awesome. Like I never got to experience the clan op side of things, so I cannot even imagine what like all of the work and everything that puts in. But I love that we have so many women in TSB. So, Mr. Colonel Sanders.
Yep.
So, tell us about yourself. When did you join TSB?
Originally, I joined at about the exact same day Percy did originally. I left about a year and a half afterwards for a little bit and came back about 6 months ago. I think 6 months ago. TSB was my first gaming community I've been in, and to be honest, I'm here to stay. I ain't leaving. This is the only community for me. I've seen other communities, how they are run, and it's nothing like how TSB is ran.
So, are you working on splitting a squad right now, or is that like obviously like on your goal list, but you've got other like more important things now?
All the squads within HR right now, they're all pretty close to those numbers for the split. My close goal, I should say, short term, would be getting prominence to split. That's what I'm working toward right now. But my ultimate goal is to see a division split, seeing everybody work hard, work together, and seeing 2 different divisions for PlayStation be a first in history.
I'm rooting for you. Yeah, I'm rooting. Like I've never heard of it, so maybe, but I'm rooting for you. That's awesome. So, Percy, why don't you we saved the best for last? So why don't you tell us about yourself?
TSP Percy. I've been in TSP just over 2 years now. Started out back in AV before AV became EC, and then HR and AV merged together. Worked my way up through the ranks in AV, then due to some unforeseen circumstances, ended up stepping away, working my way up in web ops, becoming a web director. Spent some time as a web director, doing some things that I really love doing. Rebooted the news team to pretty much what it is today. I'm glad to see that it's still alive since I had to step down from being a web director. And eventually worked my way up through the ranks in HR into becoming as of right now, the highest ranking PlayStation member in TSP history, which I'm definitely proud to say, and definitely proud to be in the position that I am today. I wouldn't be able to do it with all the amazing people, including those that are in here with us right now.
So I talked about how me and Nighthawk go way back. You and I definitely go back as well. You were my web director. I was so sad when you left. I still hate Galvanize to this day for that.
For the record.
I will never forget it.
It was a sad day for me too. I absolutely love being a web director. Other than the fact that I absolutely love Plan Ops, I'd have to say that within my experience in TSB, that being a web director was definitely one of my favorite experiences that I've had here in TSB.
I'm just saying that I have a web director spot open for anybody listening. You heard it here first.
All right, so anybody that is listening and thinking about that web director spot, I would definitely encourage you to give it a try. It's a great experience to have. You heard it here firsthand.
Thank you, thank you. And so TSB is your first community, right?
Yes, it is.
That always amazed me when I found that out, because I'm always thinking that you transferred from somewhere. And you're like, just how like amazing you've done. I'm like, he has like community experience, obviously. And you're like, no, TSB is my first community.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of picked up on things and hit the ground running when I first joined. I mean, I think it was I spent less than a week here when I first decided to rank up for the first time here in TSB, and it's just, I'm one of those people where I'm just nosy. I like knowing what's going on around me. So, I mean, ranking up just kind of came naturally to me because that kind of got me in the know more.
My dad called me nosy the other day, and I was like, okay, I never said I wasn't.
Right? Like facts, straight facts.
And Cora, I can tell you, this man, from the day he started ranking up, was in my DMs daily.
Question after question after question. What if after what if after what if?
Exactly. And I was actually kind of shocked that he'd come in and hit the ground running, and of course, he's climbed through the ranks and done various things in TSB. I was just surprised that I don't want to say I shaped him into what he is today, but I'm just happy that I was able to help him grow and be able to learn how things not should be run, but how you think it needs to be run.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to piggyback off that too. I mean, I do have to give a lot of credit to Nighthawk when I was first coming up through the ranks over in AV. He did teach me a lot of what I know. A lot of it was me just digging in through the handbook, learning a whole bunch of other stuff. I also have to give a big shout out to Galvanized. He's over in XDG now. And I mean, he taught me when HR first started, he taught me a whole lot of different things of what to look out for, how to do different things that I wasn't as experienced with as I was coming back up through the ranks in HR. And I can honestly say that if it wasn't for Galvanized, I don't know if HR would have succeeded as fast and as well as it has up until now. Well, up in the early stages, at least.
While we're on giving, I want to give a big shout out to Percy, because if it wasn't for Percy keep pushing me to be where the best that I could be, I wouldn't be in this position.
I mean, it's just one of those, I like seeing people succeed. I always tell my officers that, my colonels and my majors and officers, that whenever somebody starts linking up, that's the most important time to make sure they have every tool they need for success. It's those first few weeks when somebody starts ranking up that you're going to know whether or not they're going to become a good officer or whether they're just going to kind of fizzle out. You get a good feel for that pretty much right off the bat. I always go into the chats and I'll see these guys fight or offender, touch them. I remember the way that I trained them up when they were colonels, and I see them doing and saying pretty much some of the exact type of things that I said to them when they were colonels, and I'll just go into the chats after they say it and be like, they grow up so fast.
That's facts. He does quite often.
I did it earlier today, in fact.
He did. He 100% did.
It's just it's one of those things that it just makes me proud to look back on everything that HR has done and the obstacles that we all have overcome, and to see where we are at today we're just about to cross 300 members. Actually, I think we did just hit 300 members earlier today, and looking back to when it all just started, it was me at first, and then a handful of other people, and now here we are pushing to become potentially one of the bigger divisions in TSB. When a lot of people thought that the PlayStation division wasn't going to go anywhere.
You guys have worked so hard, and I know like we've already been kind of talking about that on this episode, but it's amazing how many barriers you guys have broke, and also just how much success you've had, and how much like you motivate everyone around you to just do better. I love, and I don't mean this in any way, but like a good underdog story. Like TSP was the Xbox clan. You guys came in as a whole new console, and everyone was just kind of like, we'll try it out. Like, it's a new idea. We don't know how it's going to go. And you guys have successfully built that, and you're still building. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's definitely like the feel-good story, like to remind the listeners that anything is possible. Like, all you have to do is care and want it enough.
And it hasn't been easy by any means.
No, it has not. It's one of those things where it's just like really any other division, just adapt to the scenario that you're given, overcome it. And one of those things where you just got to kind of overcome the scenarios that are given to you, try to find a way out of them, try to find a way through them, adapt, overcome, and repeat the process next time you hit a bump in the road. I see a lot of people that when they hit a bump in the road, they focus on that bump too much and not focus on how to get over or around that bump, and just they kind of get trapped in their own mind instead of wanting to stay how things have always been and not want to adapt. Exactly. And like that's literally the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If something's not working, you've got to take steps and take measures to fix it.
So before we started recording, I heard some talks about like the best dad outfit, and I just want y'all to know that if you're not wearing the New Balance tennis shoes with the high socks, holding the spatula, with the Old Navy t-shirt, and the high-waisted blue jean shorts, that you're not a real dad.
You
Listen,
can't.
you got to skip. The blue jean shorts are for beginners. You got to rock the khaki shorts with the cargo pocket. You got to have that carrying space for your extra beers.
That's
Absolutely.
that's what I'm wearing right now, and you can't forget the John Deere hat.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, the John
And
Deere,
for all
John
you
Deere
Southerners out there, don't forget your can of Grizzly or Copenhagen.
and you know the John Deere hat is good, but you got to have the straw hat with the string on the bottom so your hat don't blow off.
Don't forget to have that piece of straw in your mouth.
Not the
Yeah,
straw.
hey man, that's stereotyping, Percy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Hey,
don't talk about
I
my
ain't saying
like
anything that I haven't done or would do myself.
This is true, 100%.
100%.
Like,
But Percy, aren't you originally from the South-ish area?
Yes, sir. I'm from Arkansas.
And don't sir me.
no, Percy. Oh no,
Arkansas.
Oh, you got to hop on that train with Terror Code and say, fuck Arkansas?
Oh my God, why is the speed limit 55 everywhere?
Listen, Indiana ain't no better. The max speed limit you get in Indiana is 65, and that's even on the interstate.
The speed limit here is like 75 with a minimum of 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not running 75, you're getting your butt run over.
Oh yeah,
Listen, in Texas, if you're running 75, you're the slowest one on the highway.
Exactly.
Whenever we went on a road trip, I was driving a truck, which I don't drive, and I had something in the back of it that was tied down, like strapped in, but I was going 55 and a 75. I was going the minimum. And I thought Helios was going to jump out and walk. He was like, I can walk faster than this. Like, what are you doing?
Listen. You said you had something tied down on that truck?
Uh-huh.
Did you put a ratchet strap over it
It
and
was
look
a
at it
ratchet
and say
strap.
it wasn't going anywhere?
Yeah, that I had to FaceTime my dad. He told me to do that. He was like, if you don't do that, it's going somewhere.
Exactly. That's just the law of strapping down a load. If you don't say that ain't going nowhere after, you best believe you're losing something going down the highway.
That's like my boss. We'll get a trailer load loaded up, and he goes, "You think it's good? Think it's good? It'll ride." Oh, but Cora, I did feel accomplished this week, though.
What'd you do?
Okay, so I get notifications of the people that I follow that start up streaming.
Okay.
I know where this is going. I know where this is fucking going.
So, so I had a particular ex-member that started streaming, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just chilling. I am not saying anything. I'm not, causing any trouble. I'm just sitting there watching her stream. And apparently I didn't know you could see who's watching your stream.
I'd love to know how. I don't
And
know.
she was like, there are just some people that I don't even think about them anymore, but yet they still want to creep and this, that, and everything else. So she goes, and besides, why do I want toxic people watching my stream? And I was like, I don't remember being toxic. And then she banned me from watching her stream.
I asked him what her stream name was after that, but he couldn't remember what it was. I was about to go troll so hard.
The moment I joined, the only words that were spoken was, well, we're not letting him in either. And then, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to a question that on our last episode we had refined hatred. And apparently in our age, there's a big question about if pineapple goes on pizza. Does HR stand in unison on their answer, or are you guys just as divided?
Remind me what their answer was.
It's up in the air. Like it's an ongoing argument, basically.
I just want to put it on the record that I say hell no. And even the great Ram says hell no.
I say hell no.
Okay.
Pizza comes from Italy. You show me one Italian that's going to put a pineapple on a pizza.
I'm not huge on pizza, but one thing I do know is if Gordon Ramsay says something is trash, it's trash.
Facts.
It sounds like HR is pretty solid in their answer. Pineapple does not go on pizza according to HR.
We're missing a bigger issue here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some people that put pineapple on pizza, but there's also some people that do mayonnaise and pea pizza.
Mayonnaise on a pizza?
With
Is this particular person?
Yeah.
We need to all unite against the mayonnaise on pizza people.
Yes.
Percy's trying to get me sick over here at work. Even the pictures of it don't look appetizing in any way.
No, why? Why?
Okay. It sounds like a pretty solid answer. So before we go, I do have one more question. Earlier, we talked with Sanders about how hard it is to split a squad, right? And how it's Hell Week. So everyone else here has been past that point. What advice would you give to him or any colonel that's trying to split a squad currently? We can start with you, Nighthawk.
I mean, essentially just keep doing what you were doing to get to, the rank of colonel. Just keep working. Make you got your officer staff doing what you need done.
My biggest thing would be to lead by example. You don't, just because you made it to that colonel rank doesn't mean you get to kind of sit back and chill. We don't even get to do that at the division staff rank. Once you do get to that colonel position and you are running your own squad, you need to maintain your level of activity that you've had through your entire process of ranking up. You have a little bit more responsibility. You're going to have a lot more luck getting officers to follow you, listen to you, and stay motivated by doing the same things you're asking to do with them. As in, like, bringing in recruits still, doing game nights, gaming with your members. Get to know your members. If you get to know your members and you feel that connection with them, you're going to have a lot easier of a time filling your officer staff. You're going to have a lot easier of a time keeping your activity within your squad up. And overall, the general happiness of your squad is going to be through the roof if you continue with your activity. You also want to make sure that you show your appreciation to your officers and to your members. And when they do something and they've been doing good, make sure they know that you've noticed. Because that is one thing that will demotivate a squad extremely quick, is when they think that what they're doing is not being noticed, being underappreciated, or being taken for granted. But all in all, just like Nighthawk said, you pretty much got to do the same thing as you would do as a captain, as a major, as a lieutenant. Just keep putting in that work, put in that extra elbow grease. Your officers are only going to give you what you give them. It's one of those give and take efforts. You can't just expect them to sit there and do their daily duties when you're not sitting there and doing it right there with them. If to them it looks like you're taking a back seat and letting them do it, they're going to end up getting demotivated and doing the same thing.
Okay, guys. So HR will always have such a soft spot in my heart. I've known Nighthawk, I believe, the longest, and Percy the longest of basically any other div leaders. So of course that, and I worked closely with both of you in the past. I want you guys to succeed. Kind of like we talked about earlier with the underdog story. They are popular for a reason. People love that. People love to see people who put in hard work get rewarded for that. And you guys are the highest ranking members that the PlayStation Division has ever seen. And you're only going up from here. So I can imagine where you guys are going to be this time next year and what you guys are going to do and the barriers y'all are going to break. Do you guys?
Listen, by this time next year, I'm hoping that the div is split and we're rocking 2 divisions strong.
Exactly. That's my goal as well.
A div split that would be absolutely amazing. That would just. I should write a book. If I could write a book, I'd write a book about you guys. That would be absolutely awesome.
Listen, we're halfway there already.
And only going up from here. Would you guys like to give any shout outs to anybody?
Well, I do want to say one thing. I made some shout outs earlier in the podcast, but I do want to shout out one more person. I would definitely have to say thank you to Forsaken for his guidance that he showed us since he's become a director. He's always had our back when we made decisions on things as well.
Forsaken gives the best advice. Absolutely. Don't tell him I said that. But he actually does.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear anything.
I would just like to shout out, the entire Hidden Royalty division. Without the rest of the division staff, myself and Percy and Fighter and Touch'em and Fender, we couldn't be where we were at without them. I probably don't say it enough, but I do appreciate that the effort and the time that they do put into Hidden Royalty to make it what it is. I couldn't be prouder of the members that we have. And I just like to say to them, keep pushing, and we'll see where it goes.